shout out for Mr. Taylor and all the kids in the Taylor universe. I was just giving a shout out to say have a wonderful day and learn, because it's very important. Learn everything that you can so you can be the greatest you that you can be. Elmo loves you. Have a wonderful day.
Warning.
Red alert.
Ay, 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 ay!
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger!
That's the emergency alert. This episode is full of spoilers for some of the latest and greatest nerdy movies and shows.
Spoilers.
Listener discretion is advised.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Infinite Taylorverse podcast. I'm Billie Taylor, and this week I am here to bring you all of the really fun conversations that were had last weekend at St. Joseph RetroCon. So, again, we kind of hyped this event up, and I'm glad we did because it was totally worth the hype. It was so much fun. It was very down to earth, very small, very family oriented, easy to navigate, affordable, all the things that you want for, going out with your friends or family or by yourself to have a good time, to do anything these days. So it was amazing. As you could already tell from that intro earlier, I was able to get this really cool shout out from Mr. Kevin Clash, the voice of Elmo himself, as well as I was able to have some conversations with Robbie Rist, aka Michelangelo, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, among so many other things. I was able to talk to Samantha Newark, who was Jem from Jem and the Holograms, among many other things. Man, there were some guys from the original Resident Evil video game. They were so much fun to talk to. We had Ricco Fajardo, who is Lemillion from My Hero Academia. That was so much fun to talk to him. We had Phil Niemeyer, who was the artist that created the artwork from the original Mortal Kombat video game. That was a lot of fun to talk to him about, his whole experience and his work. And then, of course, we talked to cosplayer Mavie Wavey. She was a lot of fun to talk with, and it was just such a great time. And I cannot express enough. If you missed it this year, go to their social media, go to their website. They've already set out some dates for next year. Make some plans to get out there because it was, like I said, a good time. It was affordable, family friendly, small, and just, it was great. You're not going to want to miss it. But having said all of that, this episode this week is just all of those conversations. I have those ready for you guys to listen to, and I hope you enjoy.
What's up, guys? It's Billy here, and we're at St. Joe RetroCon, and I'm sitting here with Mr. Robbie Rist.
Hello, sir.
AKA, Michelangelo from the live-action Ninja Turtles. We got Cousin Oliver from the Brady Bunch.
And right there, most of your audience went, I'm sorry, who?
What?
That was a million years ago.
Well, guys.
They're actually pulling the bones, of the fossilized bones of character actors from that time out of the ground right now.
Right. Well, man, how are you doing today?
Great. Here at the, here in St. Joseph, Missouri, doing, what is this Comic-Con called?
St. Joe RetroCon.
St. Joe RetroCon.
That's
We do so many of these, like, it all starts to look like one convention
right.
center, one plane, one air,
Right.
So, like, what is the name? It's like when bands tour, invariably, if they have a big, long tour, you'll see on the monitor, someone will have taped the name of the city.
Yeah.
It's like, hello, Cleveland.
That's awesome. Well, one of the questions I love to ask people is, you're in a ton of stuff that bring a lot of people joy, man. How does that feel to you, just knowing you're a part of this thing that, all these things that bring people just happiness and joy, man?
Well, I guess you start doing it because it brings you joy, right? So when I was a kid, I'm putting on plays for the dog and, whatever. But after a while, you start to realize that these jobs that you do, whether they make people happy or they make people say whatever, your job is to elicit a response, right? And so hopefully if you do your job well enough, you get a lot of positive response, right? And I really feel fortunate that I keep stumbling into things that make people happy, but they're also not the way the Punisher makes people happy.
Right.
I mean, I'm joking, but uh, the Turtles thing, Naruto thing, Doc McStuffins, all of these things, I don't know. I guess I'm grateful is the word, I
Yeah.
think, that I get to be involved with things that do make people happy and are a force for good change.
Yeah.
Because of the turtle thing, we do these conventions, and part of the meeting people who are into these things, part of that transaction is less that I'm a performer and more that they are, in that a lot of people have a story having to do with this thing that they love very much, right? And so now that's my job, is to bear witness to their story.
Yeah.
And some of them are incredible. There are people that I knew that became martial artists because of and under circumstances where it was because they were getting pushed around. And they, became black belts, or people that became really great graphic artists. I mean, I've been doing this now for like 15 or so years, So there's I get home and I'm kind of emotionally tired,
Yeah.
but also inspired at the same time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that is so true, because I mentioned
Hey, now-
before we started here, I'm a science teacher at high school, and I think back to my childhood with, characters like Donatello from the Turtles, or the Blue Power Ranger, or countless people from Star Trek. Or you got all these characters that influenced me. I know they influenced me, and now I'm learn science, teaching science. So same thing with the guys that do martial arts, and
Any number of things, of course.
it's such a cool positive impact that
Yeah, and
you
some
guys-
people want to become actors because of it,
Yep,
and some
yep.
people, it's art is good.
Yeah.
Like, I know that sounds very simplistic, but I find it funny that specifically American culture views art as if they don't view it as an outright commodity, they look at it as it's not always a part of your life. If you go get it, you go get art.
Yeah.
Where, I've spent a lot of, I've spent a lot of time in Europe, but I mean, I've spent a lot of time in Europe. And I notice in every town, in every plaza, that's kind of how they set it up there, in the middle of every plaza, there's a fountain or a sculpture or a something and a bench. And it's just there because the truth of the matter is that life is horrible. And every once in a while, you just have to sit on a bench and look at something pretty.
Yep.
And they make this but an everyday part of life where, it's looked down upon to be an artist. Hell, it's looked down upon to be a scientist. It's looked down to be
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we want to get into a discussion
Sure.
about America embracing anti-intellectualism, it's happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree, and we'll leave it there. Um, that's-
Let alone chipping away at public schools
Oh.
for the last since the 70s.
Oh, I know. Heaven forbid we educate our populace.
Yeah, right? Well, dumb people are easier to push around.
This is true. So, thinking of...
I'll bet you thought this was going to be light and fun, didn't
No,
you?
that's...
Oh,
I
no.
love where this could go. I love where it can go anywhere. Veering back a little bit to... Obviously, you've been an actor for quite some time.
Yeah.
What was... Around the Cousin Oliver time, was that your first thing, or did you have a little bit
Oh,
before that?
no. I kind of started acting I started getting jobs. I was always acting, but I started getting jobs pretty much out of the gate.
Okay.
My parents are the German. They were German immigrants, small town people. Don't know anything about entertainment. dad's a television repair guy, and my mom is a housewife. I want to be in a I had gotten really into the Universal monster movies.
Oh yeah.
So I really wanted to be in a monster movie. Mom, Dad, I want to be in a monster movie. And they're like, sure you do. Now run along, but what do we know? When did I do? Maybe someday. So it was such a pain that they went, fine. And they got a newspaper and they looked for a cattle call where they just needed, they're like, we're looking for kids. And like 300 kids showed up at this thing. And I got the job. And so now my parents are like, no, I have to drive him around. And, an entertainment parent is like a soccer parent times 30.
I'll bet.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, and after I did it, I said, I want to do another one of those. So they were like, geez. So find another cattle call, and both of them, we were waiting for about an hour and a half at a certain point. And my mom looks over at me. And again, I'm 7. My mom looks over at me and goes, wow, so a lot of people here, must be getting boring. You want to go home? And I looked up at her and I'm like, no. Like, you lost your mind?
It's part of the game, Mom.
And both times I walked in and I got it. And I was like, I had done like 6 jobs in a row before I didn't get one. And that's where they had a plan. And that plan was, well, it's pretty competitive. You see, you don't get every one. And I went, really? And I got like the next 7. So I worked a lot. And then, and so by the time Brady Bunch rolled around, I'm not belittling the thing,
Sure.
but it was just another job.
Right.
At the time.
Yeah.
And then it becomes all of this.
Oh, I know. That's gotta be weird. You're hearing something like Mutant Turtles, like what? And then you join it and you become part of this phenomenon.
Yeah. I knew about the comic book.
Yes.
Because I had friends who were comic book people, so I was aware of it. I wasn't reading it regularly, but I knew it existed.
Yeah.
And I didn't know about the cartoon.
Yeah.
So they said, they're making a movie and we're going to have you read, Mikey. And I was like, they're making a movie for kids based on that comic book that I read. Wow, times really are changing. And they thought it was going to fail. Golden Harvest was fairly convinced that Steve Barron wanted to make the comic book, and Golden Harvest wanted to make the cartoon because it sell toys. And it was a fight up until the very end. And they were like, this thing may not happen, right? So, and I armed with this knowledge, on opening day, I go to the local multiplex because I am going to sit in an empty theater and I am going to bask in my own genius. I'll be like, oh, my performance. Well, too bad no one's here, but and so this is what I'm expecting. I pull into the parking lot and there's a line of kids around the building. And I go to the ticket counter and I was like, so I'd like one for the 11:30. And they're like, that's great, but there aren't any.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm sorry. She's like, no, we're sold out. I'm like, all right. Looking at the board, I'm like, 1:30? And she's like, no. All right. 4? No. What are you kidding me? This is just school day. What are these people doing out? All right. 11 o'clock show. It's kids move. No. I couldn't get a ticket until Sunday. It was sold out 2 days in a row on its opening weekend. And then the craziness went from there. Next thing you know, there's, they kind of rush out a second movie.
Yeah.
They do the tour, right? Turtles are on every bus, every billboard. I'm getting up at like 2:00 in the morning to do interviews in Australia, over the phone and whatever. It's a worldwide thing.
Oh yeah.
And wow, because nobody thought this. And here we are, 36 years later,
I know.
and we're still talking about the darn thing.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I
Yeah.
was-
How many kid movies? I know I keep jumping on you. I
No.
apologize.
This is great.
How many kid movies can you think of that have come out since the 90s? A lot, actually. You know, that's a demographic
Yeah.
they're aiming at. How many have the kind of clause in the zeitgeist that movie? There are people that come to my table and go, no, every time I order pizza, I go, pizza dude's got 30 seconds.
Same.
Right? So it's an unbelievable thing
Yeah.
to be involved in something that, like you said, makes people so happy.
Yeah. I was definitely part of that. I'm trying to think, first or second grade, that's around where I was maybe, and had the clothes, the shoes, the trapper keeper, the lunchbox. Like, oh man, it was so big. And fast forward to now, I'm an adult. I have my own children. I teach children. Same thing. Kids wearing turtles. Kids bringing turtles. Kids love the turtles. Like,
Right. Now the Lego movie is really good, but you don't have kids at school with Lego movie everything.
right.
Somehow this movie, these characters, and
Yeah.
I think, you know, because it's the cartoons,
Oh yeah.
there's a lot of different entry points now.
Yeah.
I always say it's like James Bond.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Some people are Sean Connery James Bonds.
Yeah.
Some people are Daniel Craig James Bonds. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so there's all these different ways to get into it. And I think it also keeps it fresh. And,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, the Seth Rogen movie came out 2 years ago or
Yep.
whatever. And it was a hit. So that means there was a ton of new converts.
Yeah.
And of course, they're all going to end up at the 90s movie anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But whatever. We'll
I'm glad something keeps coming out to keep it alive. And
yeah. And I think that's also part of its enduring thing. It is also really great, though, that, you know, I mean, it's like Kiss or the Beatles, where you can pick your favorite and kind of when you're young and you're looking for identity, you're looking for who you are. I think these characters can assist you in your journey to selfdom,
yeah.
whatever you
Yeah.
whatever, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I think it's why you know, that crowd aligns itself with baseball players, and that crowd, you know what I mean? There are
Yeah.
guys that are like, this basketball player I'm modeling basically my life over what I see here.
Yeah.
And the Turtles continue to do that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like you said, Donatello guy growing up, science now,
Right.
It's, you saw, whether you knew it or not,
Right.
you saw yourself on a certain level in that character. Yeah.
And the cool thing is, so many people have so many different lives in their everyday life. And personally, childhood was a little chaotic, to leave it at that. And the things like the Turtles and other wonderful entertainment things bring some escape for folks, give you a little, maybe like, let's sit down with these turtles for 2 hours, and those turtles are going to bring me a little bit of happiness today. And and it's just so cool that we have that.
Also, our culture is a little more open to it now.
Yeah.
Where I think if you were collecting toys and you were 35 in 1989, people would be like, why don't you grow up?
Right.
It's time for you to put childish things down. Well, I'm happy that we're past, we live in a grow up world.
Right.
Because I think what these things represent is it's a tactile way to put your hand on something that can, even a little bit, transport you back to a time when you were simply happy.
Yeah.
Now we're happy.
Yeah.
But we're happy, and there's that bill coming up at the end of the month, or
Right.
we're happy, but I have to find a job, or, you know, whatever that is. Back then, if you were happy,
Yeah.
that was it. You were just that.
Yeah.
So you have a totem where you can put your hand on it, and maybe in bad times in your mind, you put your hand on it and go, no, I was this way once.
Yeah.
Right? I can be this. I can be this guy.
It's also the cool insight I have with current young people as a teacher is when I was in high school, I couldn't outwardly be like, oh, I love the Turtles, I love Star Wars. Like it was, and I just turned 40. I'm not terribly old.
Uh-huh.
Kids now, you got the jocks, the band kids, the smart kids. They all love all of it, and it's just okay. And that makes me so happy.
Yeah, on a certain level, I think the human race is going to be okay.
Yep.
And I think part of it is that we have a lot of young people now looking up at grown-ups going, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
This is what you're giving me?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of them that are like, you know what? That's not the world I want.
Right.
So if we can not destroy the world before they get the shot, that's
Yeah.
going to be great.
Yes, yes. Okay. One thing I like to ask, and feel free to answer it however you want.
Yes.
I like to think of a popular character, so I'm going to go with Michelangelo.
Okay.
And if Michelangelo had some advice for some young people looking ahead of their future, what would he say to them?
It may not look that way right now, but it's going to be okay.
Amazing. Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure. Totally true.
Yeah.
Totally true. And cowabunga.
Cowabunga.
Awesome. Well, hey, man, thanks for stopping by for a few
Thank
minutes.
you for having me.
And
That was
I really
super fun.
appreciate it. And
Yeah.
I hope you have a
Yeah.
good
Right
time
on.
here in the Midwest. And
Yeah, no, we've been having a ball here. It's great.
awesome. Well, I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
What's up, guys? It's Billy here at St. Joe RetroCon, and I'm with the lovely Miss Samantha Newark. How are you doing
I'm
today?
doing great. My cheeks hurt from smiling.
Yeah,
That's always a good sign.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, for those of you guys watching or listening, Samantha's been in a handful of really cool roles that some of us have grown up with, some of us have loved for a long time, such as Jim from Jim and the Holograms. And what else? You've been in Transformers.
Yes.
And just a handful of other stuff that
PlayStation
people.
games, God of War,
Yeah.
Twisted Metal Black.
Yeah.
I was the voice of Peter Pan's mother in the movie Hook,
Okay.
the British voice.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's one of my favorite movies of all time. Well,
Great cast.
so
Yeah.
my favorite question to ask to people who've been a part of these franchises that just bring a lot of joy to so many people. How does that feel for you knowing you've been a part of something like that?
Gosh, as an artist, you only ever hope that your wonderful experience of doing the actual work resonates with people and they connect with it. And then to come to events like this and like get real-time feedback of what it's meant to people it touches my heart every time. It never gets old. It's lovely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So for you, thinking back a little bit, what kind of led up to getting these roles? Was it just your dream to be a part of entertainment, be a part of movies and TV? And
Yeah, well, it's so strange. I was singing professionally from the age of 7.
okay.
And I made a record when I was 8. And so music was always my guiding light. It was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And in show business, you find I got an agent and suddenly I was auditioning for commercials and soap operas and I screen tested for Days of Our Lives.
Oh yeah.
I made a B movie, like a horror movie in the 80s called Summer Camp Nightmare. So my career just kind of was all these different things and I was so open to it. It was like, oh, okay. And then one day I got an audition for an animated show called Gem and the Holograms and I booked the lead in it and here I am all these years later meeting the 80s kids and who'd have thought?
That's really cool.
Really special.
So for you, obviously, us 80s kids and current kids too still love a lot of this classic stuff.
Yeah.
When you're just kind of hanging out with a little downtime, what's your go-to for entertainment?
Oh, okay. Well, I am a huge fan of the Twin Peaks series and the movie. And so I love Twin Peaks. But I mean, I grew up Little House on the Prairie. I mean, I felt like that show raised me.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually called my dad Pa for quite a while. Just that whole world was incredible. And, I grew up Scooby-Doo and the Flintstones and, and I'm a big music fan. So I'm a songwriter. So I write a lot, do that. And then I travel to all these shows and it's a beautiful thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So for you personally, I guess we've kind of talked about what has brought you some joy, but what's been your favorite part of just being a part of this crazy pop culture universe?
Oh my gosh, the fans.
Yeah.
The fans. I've heard so many. It's funny. Like people come up to my table and we'll just be talking, and suddenly they'll start crying, and it is so sweet. It's like they're melting into their 8-year-old selves, and then they're hearing my voice, which really hasn't changed. And I think it's all just kind of like the synapses are going off in their brain, and they're having like this nostalgic moment that's so powerful. And also getting, I mean, I've been hanging out with Paul and
Yeah.
and with Tom, and I get to know the vendors, and it's like a big traveling circus. We see each other at many different shows, and it's just so much fun.
That is awesome.
Really fun. Yeah.
I know for a lot of fans, sometimes growing up, all the cartoons and the wonderful shows we watch, it's kind of an escape from the craziness of life. And then now we're adults who get to meet you guys. For us, it's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I was talking to somebody actually that works with Barry Bostwick, and I'm a huge Rocky Horror Picture Show fan. And I saw him, and my team stopped him mid-stride and to make a little video with me, and he was so gracious. And I was just like, oh my God, that's great. So I have my fangirl moments.
That's amazing. Well, awesome. So the last thing I'll ask you, knowing that a handful of some a little bit older teenagers might be watching this, do you have any advice for these guys that just they look at a career like yours or a similar career and start thinking like, man, I want to do something like that? What would you say to those kids?
Well, first I would say binge Gem on Tubi.
Oh, yes.
free channel. But I've learned over the years, it's really easy to chase your tail and try to, especially with my music, I've learned a huge lesson. I've come full circle with it. Like trying to sound like the next thing, trying to chase what's popular. I've really come to the conclusion through experience is to just be yourself, find your unique gifts. I mean, with voiceover, it's acting. So I would throw yourself into acting classes, into theater, into all of the things that are acting related, and just find what is unique about you, because we don't need a carbon copy of what's already been done.
Yeah.
When I auditioned for Gem, I just brought my own unique thing to it, and I booked it. And I wasn't trying to sound like anybody else. I was just trying to be real with what I read on the copy, and so that's, I think, the biggest advice. And also, you gotta love it, because it's a really, really tough business.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of rejection. So you have to have a passion for it.
Yeah, a little
And then
perseverance.
learn your craft. Just jump in. It only takes one job, really. I mean, couldn't believe that I booked Gem when I did, but I'd also been in the business since I was 8.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for a few minutes of your
You're so
time.
welcome.
And I know you just made a bunch of folks happy. So enjoy your time here at the Midwest.
Thank you. I appreciate getting to chat with you guys.
What's up, guys? It's Billy here at St. Joe RetroCon, and I'm sitting with Ricco Fajardo. How you doing today, man?
What's up, everybody? How's it going?
It's great. So you guys listening or watching know that when it comes to the world of anime, my entire family is obsessed with My Hero Academia. And you are Lemillion Togata in this
Mirio
show.
Togata, our sunshine boy, the comedy hero.
Yes, the golden boy. He's who I want all my students at work to be.
Oh man, I think we all should aspire to be like Lemillion for real.
Yes.
How far are you? Are you caught up?
100% caught up, minus whatever just came out this week.
Okay.
So
For those of you watching,
Yes.
the final episode more came out yesterday for us in this video. You haven't seen that.
not yet. That's the only thing I haven't seen.
Dude, literally, it's packed with Mirio lore. So how do we have this COD talk and I don't talk about it, or can I talk about it?
Normally I'm like, let's do it, but I haven't seen it.
Okay, no worries.
So-
I'll talk around it.
I will say, I'll start with the question I usually ask you guys.
Sure,
and
please.
then we'll jump in.
Sure.
Knowing that you are a part of these franchises, many franchises, not just My Hero,
Yeah.
that bring people so much joy. How does that make you feel, knowing you're part of that?
Man, it's really humbling. I mean, I'm a theater kid at heart. I got my undergrad at University of California, Irvine. Got my master's at SMU. I am a theater nerd. I love theater. I love performance. Usually when we do a play, we bow and maybe we get to talk about it afterwards. But coming to these kinds of shows where you get to meet the fans and like experience that joy firsthand is so fulfilling. And it's really, really humbling, man. Because again, like I don't typically get the chance to have a conversation about my work outside of like with the director, or maybe like a colleague.
Yeah.
So it really does put some polish on the old, self-esteem when I
Yeah.
have someone say that, Mirio saved their life, or you know, Isagi from Blue Lock has inspired them to pursue fitness. And I'm like, dude, come on. If that isn't what art is for, what is it for?
Yeah.
So
That definitely has to put some fuel back in your tank too, right?
Oh yes, it's reciprocal.
Keeps you going.
Reciprocal as heck. For sure.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
So
man.
let's back up a little bit. You mentioned you're a theater kid.
Uh-huh.
I was a theater kid too, man.
Yeah,
That's so much
let's
fun.
go.
And,
What was your
uh,
first play?
So let's
was
rewind a little bit. In high school, I was the lion on Wizard of Oz.
Oh, you were like a lead guy.
I was Kaniki in Grease.
I was cop number 2
Oh, yeah.
in Gaslight.
Oh, I had plenty
Dude,
of
you got
those.
me beat. You totally had me beat. You were the lion? That was like your first thing?
Yeah.
Oh my God. You're a ringer, man.
In
That's
college,
incredible.
I was Charlie Brown and You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown.
Come on, dude. You're like, you got me beat like all over. I was not. I was always like, Hamlet's guard number 3. I was always those roles, but that's amazing.
Hey, but you're the one people are lining up to get an
Whatever,
autograph
man.
from.
It's all relative. It's all relative. I wish I had that experience.
So that definitely probably sparked your flame for all this, right? Doing the high school stuff and
Yeah, I mean, well, let's see. I guess in high school, since we both work in education, my first touch, I had a great teacher, Brent Matthews at Hug High School in Reno, Nevada. While I was going through, my emo times, just not, life is pain. Because tonight will be the night that I will cry for you. That's not the lyric, but anyway, over again. Mr. Matthews had inspired me by telling me, hey, I heard you do this monologue, just cold. It was like in an intro acting class. He told me, he's like, I think you actually could do this. And it took a teacher telling me in my most like distraught of times that I might have had the ability to do a thing. And that started a path for me, man, that like, yeah, here I am, like, gosh, 20 some odd years later, 26, 27 years later. And so, yeah, here's to teachers, man. Good teachers that are just, sometimes it's a seedling or just a little nudge in the right path. So that's also a shout out for Sir Night Eye.
oh yeah,
And, it's he's also a good teacher, a good mentor. So yeah, man.
What was your first? You auditioned for it and got it role that just kind of kicked this all off for you.
I mean, let's go back to high school. I was in a production of Gaslight.
Yeah.
And it was cop number 2.
Yeah.
My buddy Ryan Kelly was the lead guy. And he, if you ever play Gaslight, it's the husband gaslights the wife a lot. Anyway, we arrest him at the end, and they gave me one of those plastic baton clubs.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know, just one night I was like, I'm supposed to hit him, and the choreography takes him to his knee. I hit him. But I hit him so hard, and it's plastic, the baton went flying into the crowd, and we were like holding in the laughter. But it was in that moment, man, where I was like, I think this is for me. I love this, because we just reined it in and we're like laughing through our teeth. It was, cop number 2 in Gaslight. Kicked it all off for my obsession with acting and theater.
Amazing. And I've got all these really cool anime roles. Were you into anime before jumping into this, or did that kind of bring you to it?
I was. My older brothers were the ones that were really into anime. I didn't really know much about it. Also, I was probably too young to be watching like the things they were watching.
Yeah.
However, the first anime that I saw, Akira, where there's a sequence where there's a bunch of protesters running across the bridge, and they get lasered apart brutally. Little, I think, 10, 11-year-old Ricco was in his bunk bed looking down, eyes wide, as like the blood does that anime thing, goes,
yeah.
I was like, what is this? And literally my brothers are like craning their head back, like, go to sleep. You're not supposed to be watching this. Go to sleep. But of course I'm like, looking through. So, captivated, man. Akira was the first. And after that it was like, Ghost in the Shell, which is still my all-time favorite anime. Bebop, Shampoo, all the orchestrations in these anime, like, man, everything about it, everything about the medium that captured me. It was like that, and video games ran concurrently. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess that leads me to think, or to ask, currently, right now, if you've got a few minutes of downtime, what do you find yourself doing or watching or playing or whatever?
Right now, like I was literally thinking about checking on my base in Dune Awakening. It's in the Dune universe, Frank Herbert's Dune. I have a base that if you do not care for it, the sands of Arrakis eventually just destroy. You familiar with Dune?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. So, and the sandworms, you got to be careful of the worms.
Yeah.
They come out, they'll gobble everything up. It feels like a farming sim, like Animal Crossing, but higher stakes.
Yeah.
You need that spice.
Yes.
So yeah, that's what I find in my downtime. I like to also, my nephews are getting to that age where they can play games with their uncle from afar. So I'll get a text message from my nephew Benji. He's like, "Hey, Uncle Rico, can you play?" And we're playing like Slay the Spire, Overwatch, yeah, multiplayer co-op games, and it's a delight, man. I love the act of play, both in what I do for a living, but also what we learn in games and media. I think it's one of the best ways to grow and have conversations safely.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Awesome. Well, to wrap this kind of up, I love asking folks that I know my students are into if your character, let's say Lemillion, had some advice for some young, 16-plus-year-old people
Oh, of course.
looking forward to their futures. Like, what would he say to these
Well,
guys?
you kind of saw it in the show, but I guess from coming from the horse's mouth, from English VA from Mirio's mouth, it would be turn experience into power, because I know his catchphrase is power, and that's really fun and everything. But guys, we all want power, we all want agency, but that comes from experience. And unlike video games, where experience is only when you win, you actually get the most experience when you take an L, when you lose, because you do learn more from loss. And that's a hard thing to absorb as a young person, because you never want to lose. Losing sucks. It hurts. But that's the thing. That's how you improve. That's how you get better. I'll give you a quick metaphor about Mirio's quirk.
Sure.
His quirk is permeation, right? If you look at Tamaki Amajiki, he's Sun Eater. He is very anxious, socially anxious, right? His quirk is manifest. His anxiety manifests and it bubbles out, and it's more powerful than All Might. Nejire Hado, she has a wave motion, right? It spirals. She's like, hey, that's totally ADHD. It's a power that spirals out. It also can do anything. It can make you fly. You can do so many things at once if you harness it.
Yep.
And Mirio's quirk, technically, in my analysis of it, is a kind of depression. When he falls into the ground, he says, "I can't hear, I can't breathe, I can't see. I feel like I could fall forever." Isn't that crazy? Yet he's the most optimistic guy in the room, because you guys, his quirk is falling. He falls all the time. He doesn't know when he's going to fall. He doesn't know how long he's going to fall. All he knows that this could be the last chance that he has to get back up. So what does he do? He gets back up every time. And I guess that's at the heart of the lesson, is that you never lose if you don't quit. If you get back up every time, you are invincible. And that's what Mirio tells everyone as he beats up Class 1A and nakedly beats them up. But yeah, I think that's the real sort of like secret behind Mirio, is that when we talk about power, it's that is earned. It comes from a lot of loss, a lot of hard work. And yes, when you keep falling, you learn how to get back up. You become untouchable, like Lemillion.
That's right. I know. I try to tell my own students, I mess up all the time. I feel like there's this feeling of I don't even want to try because I might mess up.
Dude, cringe culture is the dumbest thing in the world.
Right.
When people talk about being cringy, I'm like, you guys are whack. Like, you're never going to learn anything. Like, you have to, and I know it's a different special time for kiddos. I was just journaling about this, actually. Everything's recorded nowadays. Ironically, we're doing this right now, recording it. But this is for you guys.
Yeah.
If there was a camera on you in your private moments while you were practicing guitar, while you were practicing singing, while you were practicing your drawing, gosh, I'm not sure you would take any risks, right? So like I would hope for you all to take more chances. Don't be afraid of being cringy, because to be honest with you, on the other side of that is some of the best growth you'll ever experience in your life. I'm living testament to that, you guys. So yeah, go out there, make some mistakes and learn from them,
That's right. Great advice from Lemillion himself. Well, man, thanks so much for stopping by. It means a lot. I hope you've had a great time here in the Midwest.
Yeah.
And, thanks for coming out, man.
Dude, thanks for having me, and I hope you guys have a lovely and joyful finale, because I know you haven't seen it,
Yes.
up to My Hero Academia. And if you haven't seen it, enjoy 10 years worth of work, you guys, as you binge it.
What's up, guys? It's Billy here, and I'm set up at St. Joe RetroCon in St. Joseph, Missouri. And right now, I'm sitting with Mr. Greg Smith. How you doing today, man?
Oh, really well, thanks. Having a great time.
That's awesome. So, for all of our fans and listeners out there, Greg is a part of a really cool franchise. Those of you video game lovers, you're all going to know this, but he's part of Resident Evil. And if you can think back to when they did that really cool blend of video game and live action stuff all in the game, he was part of that. And your character was Barry Burton.
Barry Burton, yes. Barry was like the older, even at the time, and it was made 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, no, 31 years ago it was made, released 30 years ago. And even then I was like the older one of the team. I was like the hardened zombie killer.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like the one. The other ones would go, let's run down and kill a zombie. I go, no, let's walk down and kill 10.
Yeah.
I was that kind of character. I was cool, took my time to do things and do it well.
Oh, that's awesome. So I guess a couple of questions for you. What in your life kind of led you there? Like, what was it always kind of your aspiration to be some kind of a voice actor or a live action actor, or what led you there?
Luck,
Yeah.
fate.
Yeah.
I was a primary school assistant principal,
Okay.
and I was transferred to Tokyo to work with the Tokyo Department of Education for a 12-month secondment. So I was sent there I work for the government in New South Wales. They sent me there to be their representative because they had representatives all over the world, and I got to go there.
Okay.
And I just happened to be visiting a friend walking down the street in a place called Roppongi, which is where a lot of gaijin, which are foreigners, hang out. They had foreign bars, it had foreign restaurants. And I was just walking down the street to visit a friend who happened to live there, who was the Japanese chief of police, by the way. And a guy just came up to me and grabbed me and said, hey, we're looking for someone that looks like this, and he looks like you, and you look like him. Can you act? And I went, oh, yeah, I can give it a go, mate. And that was it. I was just in the right place at the right time. It was nothing I aspired to. That was fun. And it was just one of those things that fell into my lap.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And since that moment, have there been other similar roles to that, or?
No, never. No one's ever come and accosted. Well, what happened? I was there. I was a teacher. My main occupation was to work with the schools in Tokyo in their English departments, in their language department. So I had a job doing that, and that was my number one focus. This was just something I did on the weekend or one night kind of thing, or during the school holidays. So that a good summer break actually happened during the school holidays.
Okay.
So it all worked out. I went back to teaching, like I just did it one day. 3 days it took. One day kind of rehearsal, haircuts, fielding out for costumes and all those things. Second day went into a studio and they filmed the intro. And the third day was an all-night shoot where we went and filmed all the night scenes and the scenes in a riverbank, running around shooting guns, and they had the mist machines and all those things. And it was a really interesting experience because the directors didn't speak English. My Japanese was okay, but not good enough to understand their directions in fast Japanese, like, oh, God, and look scared. How do you, is this good enough? No, not scared enough. And they had a translator, right? And they go, no, you're not scared enough. So, oh, better, and kind of things like that. And it was like a lot of sitting around. Whenever you make a movie or filming anything, there's a lot of downtime. You film, and then you'll be film, and it might be a 10-second clip, and it takes an hour and a half to film because in those days it was one camera, one spot, but they'd then move around and take another, and the guy'd run around, and a lot of downtime, a lot of drinking tea and coffee, eating sushi, back out there to work. And I remember we went out and we'd been fighting the whole time, and we're supposed to be at the end. This was the end, and our clothes were all pristine. And I remember that Charlie, one of the other actors, said, "Look, we've got to look dirty. We better look dirty." So I remember we're all rolling around in the dirt, rubbing mud on us and things like that to look like we'd been fighting and putting dirt on our face and all those kind of things. Because the makeup artist made us look pristine, and we didn't need to look pristine.
Yeah.
So that happened. I did it, and I knew I did it, but it put it in the back of my head because I was focusing on my job. Then I did a couple of other jobs as actors. They got me for a pro wrestling job, things like that. I left Japan because I was only seconded for a year, went back to Australia and continued, became a school principal. And I knew I'd done something called, didn't even know the name of it. I knew I'd been in a movie. So they didn't tell us anything. So it was all hush, hush, secret squirrel. They didn't want, Capcom didn't want Sega or whoever to find out what they were doing because they didn't even put our names in it hardly because they just put our first names. They didn't want anyone else to steal us and put us in their video.
Yeah.
So that meant there was no more work for us. I went back to Australia, and it was only in 2018 a fellow contacted me from France and said, "Were you the guy, you are the guy in this?" I went, "Yeah, that's me." "How'd you find me?" So artificial intelligence. I knew you came from Australia. I knew your name, and anything that came up with your name on it, we were scanning and found you in a picture. So yeah, okay. And that was about it. And then he made this podcast, and the next thing, 20,000 people are contacting me and wanting to know about autographs and all that. I don't know about autographs. I don't know any of this stuff. It's all new to me. And then just kicked your bottle over. In
That's all right.
2022, a guy called Andrew Joseph contacted me and said, "Oh, I found Charlie." I said, "Yeah, I've been in contact with Charlie on Facebook. I found Eric. Can you I'm going to do an interview with you, like a full-blown interview video. We're going to make a mini movie about finding you guys. Can you be in Utah?" And I went, "Yeah, mate, I can be there on the 6th of June. Give me an air ticket." And he did. And I was there on the 6th of June, and we filmed for a day in the studio, 2 days, playing the game for the very first time. So I'd never played it before. Being interviewed with everyone, like the three of us being interviewed by him. Lots of filming being done. And then he had this idea. He wanted to make a movie which wasn't a sequel, but a carry-on from the game to show what happened 20 years later. So, because he has to explain my age. Like, I've aged, I've gone from a red beard to a grey beard. And so what they did was he then crowdfunded and got it all together and pulled it all together over a period of 2 years. That was 24, 23, he started working on it. 24, they raised money and all that. And 25, we filmed it in Utah. So we got a whole new, so I got to film again and do all those things and be a part of a movie. So that was really a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Remembering the script was hard work.
Yeah.
Oh man, and it was all night shoots. We shot all night, like we're like vampires. We'd get up on the road at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. As soon as it was dusk, we might have to travel for an hour depending where the scene was, because we did different scenes in different shoots, and some were in houses, some were in caves, some were in a studio. So it was all night shoots. So you'd get picked up at 5 o'clock, drive for an hour, get there about 6 o'clock, have a bit to eat, makeup, costumes, rehearse, practice, and then 57 takes of that one scene, and then you do something in between. They might take a couple of other close-ups and whatever else. Then you'd rest, and you do that all night till about 5, till the sun started coming up. Then they go, cut, can't do it because they all had to be done in the dark, horror. And then we'd go back to the hotel, have breakfast, go to sleep, get up again, and it was really hard. I was absolutely exhausted by the end of it. I was really tired. I slept and I'd been on holiday in Europe, so I'd flown straight back to Australia from Europe, which is like a 30 hours, 40 hours by the time you have all those stoppages from Europe, from Istanbul back to Australia. I got home at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, had the whole next day at home. At 10 o'clock next morning, I set off for America. So I was pretty wasted by the time I got there.
I'll bet.
Yeah, so it was great fun, really good fun. And so there, that came out of it. And then a couple of years ago, I started getting invited to Comic Cons,
Yeah.
which are great because we get to meet the fans.
Yeah.
And they're really, really loyal fans and
Yeah.
great people. Really good.
So thinking about your whole career in education, was there a point when you went back to doing all that? Were there ever any kids or even employees that were like, oh man?
Not so much employees, but the kids that weren't at my school. I was in the street one day and a couple walked up and said, "Are you in a video game?" And you've got to be. And I went, "Yeah, I am." "Oh, okay," and they walked away. That was it. It wasn't anything big. Like, "Oh yeah, sure, yeah."
Yeah.
It was mainly later on that I started to get recognised, and now these days I'm recognised a lot more. We went out to Germany last year to a Comic-Con. Amazing, massive Comic-Con, huge. And we went to Germany in Stuttgart and had to land in Munich. And we're in Munich and we did the Comic-Con, and then going home, I had to wait in Munich for the way it worked out and transpired with the trains. I was about 3-4 hours in Munich, so I thought I'll go for a walk around Munich. And I did have a Residents of Evil T-shirt. And I walked around, and all these people in the street, "Are you Barry Burton? Are you the real Barry Burton?" I went, "Yeah." And I thought, gee, I come to Germany to be recognised. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how's that felt for you to know that you're part of something that people just love so much? It brings them a lot of joy and
It
stuff.
was really weird to start with because it was hard to comprehend. Because, to be honest, to start with, it was like 2.5 days of my life. And I'm 70 now. I know I don't look it. You can tell me I don't look 70. I'm 70.
Not at all.
I'm 70 now, and I've been retired 10 years as a school principal. 'Cause in Australia, they kick you out at 60. And so I've been it's just 3 days of my life or 2.5 days of my life, and it was good fun, and I thought put it down to a great experience, but I had no idea it would lead to where it has led.
Yeah.
If that's so I can say I had no idea this would be a path I'd lead down in retirement, and it's such a great path.
Yeah.
I'm so lucky. Like most people in retirement sit around and complain about their rheumatism or arthritis or the fact I don't know, they complain about something where I don't have anything to complain about. The only thing I complain about is, gosh, I'm tired. I'm jet lagged from Australia. Like, the
Right.
last flight nearly killed me. Like, I had to stop in Hawaii for 7 hours. So it ended up being like 24 hours by the time 27 hours before I left home and got to here kind of thing. It's a lot of time kind of half sleeping, but I slept for a day and a half, Kansas City at a hotel. So I don't know much about Kansas City.
Yeah.
Except the hotel had a really good hot tub. And that was about the most I did for 2 days.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well,
But no, it's
cool.
good.
Well, hey, thanks a lot for a few
Yeah.
minutes of your time.
Yeah, and the people in are just so good. The people in town here, St. Joseph's, have been so welcoming and so friendly, and we just had the best time ever. And the food, we had some great meals in town,
Yeah.
and really had some good times, and met some beautiful people. Really, really, yeah, just so friendly.
That's
Reminds
great.
me of Australia.
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah.
people are so friendly and welcoming.
I'm glad they've been like that. So
Yeah, no, it's been great.
everyone, saying we're kind of Kansas City adjacent here. Has anyone asked you, has anyone made you have any of the barbecue yet?
No, I've missed out on the barbecues. I missed. I'm really, even when I was in Texas last time, they all told me I had to have brisket. I never got to have it because I just didn't get a chance. I think tonight we might be having a barbecue
Oh, good,
in
good.
Kansas City or something like that,
Awesome.
which I'm hoping is really good because my manager comes from Texas. He keeps saying, "Hey man, there's nothing better than a Texas barbecue. These Kansas guys can't do a barbecue like Texas." So
I don't know.
come on,
I don't know.
come on, Kansas! You've got to lift. You got to make this guy eat his words.
Yeah, I think if you have depending on where you go tonight, he might be. So
Yeah, okay, we can hope so. But look, all I want to say out there to any of the students listening, never knock back an opportunity. You never know where it leads, as long as it's a safe opportunity, not the opportunity to jump off a building or something like that, or do something really dangerous, drive a car stupidly, unless you're on a racetrack. But if you never knock back any good opportunity that comes your way, like if I'd said to the guy, "Nah, I don't want to do that," I wouldn't have had this whole new world open up to me. So you never know where an opportunity is going to lead you and what track it's going to take you on.
Yeah,
And I get to be an actor. I get to do lots of things.
that's
So
awesome.
yeah, just go with it. But don't take dumb opportunities, ones that are dangerous. Weigh it up.
Right.
You mind? Making a movie wasn't on the danger scale to me. But
Yeah.
if you'd asked me to jump off a 4-story building, yeah, I mightn't do that. Like,
Yeah. Awesome. Well, hey, thanks so much for your time, man.
yeah, mate,
and thanks
my
for
great
stopping by.
pleasure. Thank you. Look, get along if you've still. I don't know when this goes out. If this goes out today, get down to St. Joseph's RetroCon and have a good time. If you missed it, come next year.
Come back next year, guys.
Come back next year. You all come back now.
Thank you, man.
See ya.
What's up, guys? It's Billy here, and I'm sitting here with Eric Pirius, who you might know as Wesker from the Resident Evil game. Man, how are you doing today?
Good, good. We're at a great venue and a lot of fans here today from the Resident Evil community. Really enjoying ourselves. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, and I guess as we get into this here, you're a part of a franchise that so many people love, brings a lot of joy to people. What's that been like for you to just feel that from people, just knowing you're a part of something big that so many people love?
Yeah. Well, it makes some of the days get a little long, and that makes it worth it because everyone's got a Resident Evil story. My parents weren't home, or it was just me and my brother, and we played the first game, which I was in, and Greg, Charlie, and I were in that first Resident Evil video game as live action characters, FMV, and that was the first time that had been done. So I think the players develop a kinship with that. That maybe the characters are a little relief from the. I mean, the game's kind of freaky, right? It does scare you, and whatever that formula is in that first game sticks with people throughout there. Because here we are, 30 years later,
Yeah.
and the community is attached to that moment, and that's what keeps them all together and keeps the popularity of the characters alive. And I mean, although we were the actual characters, we just step into that moment for them and into that role, and receive that adoration generally, and that's pretty special. So it's been great to be the recipient of the fans' uh, love for the characters, and it doesn't matter where you are. It's always the same. It's nice.
Yeah. And I guess my next question for you is what led up to that event? Tell us a little bit about what was going on with you and your life. Were you
Yeah.
always wanting to be in some form of acting, or were there other things going on? Tell us about that.
Sure, I was in Tokyo at the time, and mid '90s, and I spent the '90s in Tokyo, so about 9 years, and that's the kind of work I was in. I was doing. They use foreigners in media quite a bit, so I did TV commercials and print work and a lot of voice work, and this was just another job. And there was an audition, and I got the part, and couple days shoot out in a field near Mount Fuji, actually, and it was hot, summertime, humid, a lot of lights, a lot of smoke, a lot of yelling. There was a storyboard, although we didn't really know. We knew it was a video game, and that's about it. So, of course, there's no way we could know what it was to become. But following, at the end of the job, it was a good job. It was 2 days. We got paid a little more than usual, but that was it. 18, 19 years later, I got pinged on Facebook repeatedly, and I had been found. And at first, I didn't know what they were referring to, and I don't know what. And then started slowly kind of figuring it out. Spoke with Charlie, who I had kept in touch with a little bit over the years, and realized what a following Resident Evil had around the world at that time, and started to slowly embrace the community and end up where we are right now.
That's awesome. So, is there a certain point when did you find yourself out and about and people were like, "Oh my gosh, that's that guy from that game." When did that start happening, or has it happened?
It's rare. It does happen though, particularly around an event like a con,
Right.
and you'll, be sitting somewhere so it's pretty rare. It's, negligible. Although it has happened a few times. What happens more often is at a con again, somebody will say, "Oh, great, you know, good look," right? Like, you're playing nice cost, like nice, you're playing Wesker, right?
Yeah.
And
Good job.
they're like, "Oh, nice, look, yeah, Wesker," and I'm like, "No, no, I am Wesker." Yeah, I know, good job, yeah, I like it. And like, no, I'm Wesker. Yeah, I know, I get it. I mean, yeah, it's nice, and they think I'm fishing for compliments about my. So anyway, that's always kind of funny, and once in a while, I've got like, "No, come here," and I show them the booth, and I show them the picture, and I'm like, "That's me," and they're, "Oh, and so I get more of a kick out of that than somebody in 7-Eleven saying,
Right.
"Yeah, it's Wesker."
That's amazing. So, are you personally into any video games? Were you a big video game player, or
Um, Not so much anymore. I've always, well, actually, when I was younger, I did play quite a bit. Um, I didn't play Resident Evil. That was sort of when after I graduated from my not that maybe a two different. I no longer played video games. And uh, but more recently, I do play like like first person shooter stuff. But no, I really haven't played. I've played the game on podcasts.
yeah?
So no, I'm really not. I know the lore. I know the themes just from hearing, but not from actually playing.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, you personally, obviously, you're a part of this big franchise that people love. What kind of stuff are you into? If you were sitting down to watch a show or a movie or read a book, what kind of things are you into?
Sure. Mountain biking. I do a lot of that. I read. I enjoy physics and kind of black hole type stuff, and how how is this whole thing created, or that the nature of existence, that sort of stuff
Yep.
intrigues me. Um, yeah, otherwise, yeah. I mean, traveling, that's always good. We get to travel and go to different countries sometimes, or travel the U.S. doing cons. So yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. I'm a science teacher, so I'm always thinking of that kind of stuff too.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Very cool. Well, hey man, thanks so much for a little bit of your time.
Yeah.
I know the listeners and the kids, everyone's gonna think this is awesome. And if you have any advice for some young people that are sitting here thinking about their futures ahead of them,
Sure.
what would you say to these kids?
Take your time. Society rushes us to achieve and to do. And if you don't do and if you don't achieve, then you're nobody. That's not the truth. So, do your homework, but don't be afraid to smell the roses, see what's around the other corner. Take your time. If you like doing something, stick with it. You never know what can happen. And because you hear, what, find your passion and do what you like, and don't worry, the money will come. How old are these kids?
16, 17, 18.
Yeah, the money will come, and that's true. And I know that because I did my passion, but I didn't do it all the way. And meaning, like, I still kept a job, I still did this and that. I didn't truly believe in it. And if I would have, I would have never had to have a quote normal job. I would have, I had plenty of talent, and if I just would have waited a little bit longer, and more money would have flowed in. I made a decent living, don't get me wrong. But the value of sticking with what you truly enjoy and truly want is that you will end up doing a job that isn't a job, that it's fun, it's play, and you'll make even more money than if you went to engineering school.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for those words, man. And again, thanks so much for your time and enjoy the rest of your time here in the Midwest.
Thank you. Take care.
What's up, guys? It's Billy here, and we are at St. Joe RetroCon. And right now, I'm sitting with Mr. Charlie Kraslavsky, aka Chris from Resident Evil. Man, how you doing today?
I'm fantastic. I'm really loving the hospitality in St. Joseph. Everyone's so sweet and friendly, and I've just been having a great time.
That's awesome. I guess Resident Evil's a pretty big franchise with lots of people who love this thing. And my question for you is, how does it personally feel knowing you're part of something that just people love it? It brings a lot of joy and a lot of fun. How does that make you feel?
It's an incredible honor, to have just kind of been in the right place at the right time 30 years ago. The funny thing is, like, I didn't even know I was part of Resident Evil until about 2018. Long story short, they called it Biohazard, and I think they still call it Biohazard in Japan. And after we filmed it, I'm born and raised in Japan, but after we filmed that, I left, and I was a gamer until about then, till about 96. Gave my console away when I left, and just I couldn't hack like staying up till 3-4 in the morning playing Star Fox every night anymore. I was like, I'm an adult now. I need to be more responsible. And so I had no idea that they renamed it. Because of copyright issues, they renamed it to Resident Evil in the US and Europe, and they never credited us in the video game. They just put our first name in there.
Okay.
So no one knew who we were. I had no idea I was part of it. And these super fans who'd been searching for us for decades finally tracked me down. And then that was kind of the impetus and how I'm now involved with coming to conventions, and I'm really friendly with some content creators. And we've done some fan films and just having a ball with it.
That's awesome. So for you, landing this role, tell us a little bit about what led up to that. How did that happen for you?
So I'd always had the acting bug, did high school drama, things like that. Grew up in Japan, but I went to the American school, so kind of like an international school. And I came to the States to go to college, dropped out after about 3 semesters. And then my dad was like, it's time for you to come back. So I went back to Japan. I was working for my dad. He used to have an import-export company there. And but I still had the itch. I was like wanting to get into acting. So I started doing some acting and modeling. Eventually, I got recruited by this agency called Inagawa Motoko Office. And they had kind of a different business model where guys like me who were bilingual, we were managing actors and voiceover artists. And we were also talent. And so I was like one of the talent agents in the agency when the job came in from Capcom. And all they told us was, it's for a video game. We've got no budget. And they gave us the sketches of the characters and said, we don't need an audition. Just choose the people, that are in your agency that look the most like these sketches. And so I was kind of a shoe-in for Chris. Eric, who played Wesker, was someone that I worked with a lot. Sometimes I'd be representing him, but he was a freelancer, so he was with all the agencies. And so sometimes I was representing him, sometimes I was competing against him for an audition, things like that. But we were pretty close friends. And like all the other characters, except for Rebecca, our agency supplied. And so Jason Durkee, who played Joseph, Inez, who played Jill, myself, Greg Smith, who played Barry, and Eric, who played Wesker. They were all from our agency. So I was representing them and also playing Chris.
Okay. That's cool. Was there a certain point down the road, obviously, from when you guys did that you'd be out and about and people would be like, oh my gosh, that's that guy from that game?
So so we filmed it in August of 95. Game came out in March of 96. By April of 96, I got married, and she was from London. We moved to London. So I don't think there was really much opportunity for anyone to recognize me.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, that's never happened until recently. Now that I'm kind of more prevalent on social media, I've had people come up to me and go, "Are you Charlie Kraslavsky?" Which is kind of a surreal thing, you know?
Yeah.
They're like, "Yeah, I'm Charlie."
That's awesome. So has there been other things since then that you've taken part of or wanted to take part of, you know?
Well, it just so happens that about 3 days ago, I got to do performance capture for a video game studio, and I can't tell you too much about it because
Sure,
I
sure.
signed an NDA. Um, and so I'm going to be in a video game. I think it'll probably be out later this year. It's just a small role. But it was really neat for me to, I got to put on the motion capture suit,
Yeah.
and then there's this headpiece that they put on you with this bar, with the camera. So they're taking your facial expressions with the camera the whole time.
Yeah.
And, getting to do a scene like that was like a dream come true for me because I've always been curious about how it all works.
For sure.
So I got to go to this motion capture studio. It was so fun. And previously, about, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, I got to be friends with McKelly at Invader Studios.
Okay.
So I don't know if you know too much about Invader Studios. They're an Italian studio, and these were the guys who made a fan-made Resident Evil game that was so good and so close to like the real Capcom games that Capcom shut them down. But then they became friends, and they ended up being part of making, I think, like Code Veronica or something, one
Okay.
of the earlier games. And so they have a game called Daymare. The first Daymare was Daymare 1998. And then the prequel came out a few years ago, and it's called Daymare 1994 Sandcastle. And I was almost half joking, and I was like, "Hey, Michaela, give me a speaking role." And so he gave me just a little cameo in Daymare a couple of years ago. So I'm actually in two, more modern video games. And I kind of subscribe to the idea that, what is the phrase? It's like a rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah.
And so I've had a lot of fans reach out to me, through social media, wanting me to do projects with them. And one of them is in Brazil. His name is Emmanuel. I'm not sure how you pronounce the last name. I'm probably going to butcher it. I think it's either Rocha or Roca. I've never spoken with him because he doesn't speak English, but we communicate over Instagram, and he's actually working on a video game where I've given him the 3D scan for my head. And same with Greg, the original Barry Burton. And another friend, Annie, who's in a fan film with me. So we're all going to be in his game, and it's Resident Evil inspired.
Okay.
And it's called Chronos: The Nightmare Begins. Has a bit of a time travel element in it. And Annie plays my sister, and we're like going like back in time to try and figure out what happened to our family.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's kind of a cool concept. That one, I think you can wish list it on Steam.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's been working on it, I think, for like 4 or 5 years at this point, but he's just like a one-man show.
Yeah.
And his like graphics card melted or something, like from overworking it.
Yeah.
And so he had to take a long break until he could afford to buy a new setup, but he's working on it again. I'm hoping it'll eventually come out.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for time travel.
And then, we've done fan films like, that was kind of early on, like around 2022, I got contacted by this filmmaker, Andrew Salo, and I'm in a fan film called The Keeper's Diary.
Okay.
Where I play the keeper. So for those who are familiar with the first game, there's a document that you find in the game that chronicles the downfall of this umbrella researcher. He's like experimenting on the dogs, and he gets infected by the virus, and he eventually becomes a zombie.
Yeah.
And so that's never been fleshed out. It's just like a document. And so his concept was, well, let's do that. Let's make a little side story about the keeper. So it's just like a 15-minute short film. And that film got a lot of attention with, fans of the game, and was kind of the bridge that led us to the latest one we did, which is Resurrection.
Okay.
Resurrection it's an original story, but it's written by people at the Residents of Evil, and they know, all the Resident Evil canon like the back of their hand. So they wrote a story that takes place in 2022, and it feels like it could be canon, but it's just kind of a continuation of what happens after Resident Evil 7 and 8. And we raised about $250,000 through crowdfunding and filmed that in Utah over 2 weeks. And
That's awesome.
it's on fire. Like, it just came out a few weeks ago, and I think we have like about 650,000 views already.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Well, man, let's see, before we wrap things up,
Sure.
knowing that there's a handful of young people might be listening to this, do you have any words of advice for some young teenagers who are looking ahead of their future, hearing you tell this story, thinking like, man, I want to do something like that? Like, what would you say to those guys?
I think I was maybe like in my early 20s, and told my dad I wanted to do acting work. And he was like, "You're never going to make it, you know? Don't waste your time." And luckily I didn't listen to him. So my advice is just follow your dreams. And, even if you don't get to be an actor, like a working actor, you can still do it and still have fun with it. And these days, anybody can be a filmmaker,
Right.
It wasn't like that when I was coming up. And if it's your passion, just do it, whether it's being an actor or making video games or, whatever your passion is. There's a way to do it, and don't let anyone tell you different.
Awesome. Well, Charlie, thanks so much for your time today,
For
man.
sure.
I really appreciate it. And thanks for coming out here to the Midwest.
Listen.
What's up, guys? It's Billy here, and we are at St. Joseph RetroCon. And right now, I'm sitting with Mr. Paul Niemeyer. How you doing today, man? Like, yeah.
That guy owes me money.
Right? Right? I heard about that. No.
Yeah.
So, okay, for you guys watching or listening, Mr. Niemeyer here has had a hand in a ton of things that I know you love. So what comes to mind immediately for me is you were the artist that kind of created that original artwork for Mortal Kombat. That is so cool.
Yeah.
So when you started doing that, I mean, how did that all start for you? What was the process of you getting to be that guy that made that art for them?
Well, I'd love to have some dynamic, answer to that question,
Yeah.
but it was pretty much my old boss Greg called up and said, "Hey, we're desperate to get some artwork done. It's a fighting game. Get over here."
Yeah. Please make our art. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. Actually, the story goes that management had kind of controlled that whole situation. They had been negotiating with Jean-Claude Van Damme to be Johnny Cage. Now that's kind of common knowledge now, but at the time that was like the ultra secret. So when that fell apart, and it fell apart because Jean-Claude Van Damme wanted like everything, and they were Midway were cheap. It was never going to come together on that. So they had it hardwired in their heads that the only way this was going to be a success is with Jean-Claude Van Damme on board, and now he's not. So they came to Greg Ferris, who was a creative director on it, and he was my former boss when I was at Ballet as an employee. And they said, find somebody, get a freelancer in here. Don't waste any more time with staff artists. Who's the fastest gun in the West? Well, I was the fastest gun in the West, so you call Paul. So down I came, and they're like, here's the game. You got 3 weeks. Holy, are you? Yeah, 3 weeks. And I mean, that was like from concept to production on, to the point where
I wasn't making illustrations and then turning them into production art. I was making illustrations as production art.
Yeah.
We were just skipping steps that I would not advise anybody to do. All right. And would highly, disagree with it. Do not do that.
Right.
Yeah. But that just seemed to be the way things were going. And, go along the program, kids, So, yeah, that's how I got involved with it.
That's really cool. And okay, so obviously, I immediately think of Mortal Kombat, but tell our viewers and listeners, what are some of the other really cool franchises you've been a part of with the art?
Boy, I've gotten very, very lucky. I started at Valley Midway when I was like 24 years old, and I worked on oh boy, I did Super Pac-Man, Pac-Man Plus, the obscure Professor Pac-Man, Satan's Hollow, Tron, Discs of Tron, Tapper, a Spy Hunter, Wacko. I forgot that. Yeah, Wacko and Midnight Marauders, all in the 2 years that I was there. It was like 7 or 8 games and in that period. It was just nuts. And I was actually the first victim of the video game crash of 1983. And what happened was all the companies had just been making a glut of games, every week another game was coming out. And then the week after that, the newest, greatest, fastest, whatever, how could you keep up with it? And the thing is, back then, the arcade owners had to buy the games. So, if a new game's coming out in a week, they're looking at it like, they've got a whole arcade full of these games. Well, it's like having a parking lot full of used cars.
Yeah.
That you're trying to pay off in quarters. Not a good premise, and you can see it's going to fall apart eventually, and it did. So I actually got lucky that I was low man on the totem pole over there. I got laid off first, and they laid me off at the beginning of April when all the ad agencies are starting their Christmas stuff. I stepped onto the scene with mad marker rendering skills from working there, and I had a couple buddies in the ad agencies. Before I knew it, bing, bang, boom, I was freelancing. Yeah, and the funny thing is, I was looking for that perfect job I had at Ballet, which didn't exist. Also another unicorn.
Yeah.
But literally for 2, I was, in my mind, I'm thinking, I'll just freelance until I find that perfect job. 2 years into it, I'm realizing, oh, freelancing is the perfect job. I work at home. I'm in my underwear. What am I thinking? This is crazy how good. Yeah, this is a great game. And I'm charging 3 to 4 times more money than what I was making at Ballet. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Which made me immediately realize how badly they were screwing us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a question I like to ask people
Sure.
in your situation, all these games, Mortal Kombat, all the lists bring a lot of people joy. How does it make you feel knowing you've been a part of something that just brings people joy all the time?
Wow, I'm glad you asked that because quite honestly, doing these shows has made that more apparent to me than ever. And it's something I really didn't think about.
Yeah.
When you're making the games, a lot of it's nuts and bolts. You're trying to beat a deadline, and especially in this particular case, I'm really trying to beat a deadline. So you're just banging it out, banging it. But so many times, and I'm sure you've seen this and heard about this in the past, that first idea, it seems to always be golden. And so many times, like in a situation like this where there was no time for a second idea. The first idea had to fly, and that was the end of that. The end.
Yeah.
Hope it's good. Yeah, right. I mean, really, there weren't even any changes on any of the artwork. Whatever it is I showed up with at the end of that 3 weeks, that's the thing of printing. So I guess it worked out.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
That is awesome.
I could have been known as the guy that did that horrible game.
Yeah. I think you did out okay. Yeah. You can't go anywhere without somebody knowing Mortal Kombat.
True enough. And I'm flattered by that. I really am. It's been just an incredible experience. Once I was kind of rediscovered, because okay, I was kicked to the curb. I don't know if you know that story, but so I did the artwork, and the game comes out, and the last thing they expected to happen happens. It's a huge success. And now they're like, oh, we did not count on that. And apparently, the guy that made the most valuable artwork this company's ever had doesn't work here. Never did. Oh, he's a freelancer. He has rights to it. Oops.
Yeah. Womp.
So they didn't pay me. And when I went looking for the money, 60 days in, and that's, and of course, this is the, um, I'm sure there was some clerical error
Right.
phone call, right? The 90 days phone calls, I'm gonna break your knees if you don't pay me. Right? Yeah. You see the difference.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So we're at the 60 days one, and I got Ed Boon on the phone, and I started off soft, and I went in, wow, so proud of him, part of the team. Or I said, what a great success. Nobody expect to see that. So proud of him, part of the team. And he cuts me up. And he goes, you weren't part of the team. You're crappy. I'm like, okay, all right.
Where did this art come from then? Like,
And then he doubles down on it, and he goes, that artwork will never cross over the threshold of the front door ever again. Which I thought was an odd thing to say, but I get it. Yes, you hired a freelancer for a game that is so popular. You've never even seen anything like this before. What to do now, kids?
right.
Although, they could have offered me a job. They could have hired me. And quite honestly, everyone I tell that story to kind of has that in mind. But that is not what they did. Instead, they threatened me with a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Ed told me that if I showed that artwork or associated with myself with that artwork in any way, they would sue me into the Stone Age. Those were his exact words. So, I walked away from it and backed off, and I didn't have any reason to, because here's the thing. My billing was like a lousy $2,800 for all 3 weeks of work. That's not much.
Yeah.
Even in 1992 money, that still wasn't very much for what was going on there, especially the hours I put in. It was like, it was an exercise in sleep deprivation. It really was, right? So at that point, I was making probably $2,800 a week at the ad agencies where they happily gave it to us because we were making them millions. So we were making the game company millions too, but that was a completely different attitude. They'd rather steal it than pay for it. Whereas the ad agencies knew that if they kept the wheels greased, that artwork, we're going to keep churning that artwork out. And so they're throwing tens of thousands at us because they're making billions. and, like when we have to work late, they treat us like kings. They go, we'll get you dinner. Where do you want it? Sushi? Or, Gibson's, we'll go to your steaks. I swear. They go, hey, we got a whole refrigerator full of craft beer. Help yourselves. But, it was kind of the attitude was whatever it takes to make you happy to get that artwork done, we're on board. So it was a joy working for the ad agencies, and they happily paid you on time. It was almost like a regular job,
Yeah.
Yeah, my first wife was like amazed. Oh my God, it's like a regular job.
Like, thank goodness.
Yeah. My second wife was not so thrilled.
Yeah. Well, hey, knowing that I've got a handful of students out there that might be listening to this, these kids are so creative. What piece of advice would you say to them for kids who might look at a career like yours and think, I want to do that? Like, what kind of advice would you say to them?
Well, okay. I just had this discussion with somebody. We were saying, how do you determine that, your success or that you were a success? Or what is it that you did that you felt personally that it was a success? And I have to go back and say, I have to judge everything by the viewpoint of my 16-year-old self.
Yeah.
Would my 16-year-old self be, impressed with all this? Yeah, he would. He's totally impressed with all of this. So yeah, that's kind of my barometer for how this all worked out. But as far as advice for young students, I would say I know that the computer classes are so important now. And take them because if you don't, you'll be left in the dust. All right, but take those drawing classes. Learn how anatomy. Learn how to draw perspective. Learn dynamic. learn, layout, learn all of that, learn balance and color and texture. These things are all so very, very important because they're the basis of it all. And the best computer program in the world can't make you talented.
Right.
You have to show up with the talent. So all I can say is keep plugging away at it, be perseverant. Uh, um, the 3 rules, first of all, always lots of practice.
Yep.
And the second rule, of course, is practice. Guess what the third one is?
I'm anticipating practice.
You've heard this before. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and the thing is, practice is. I know this sounds corny. Like it should be. It's like it'd be.
I'm the king of corny.
Hey, this should be printed on a pillow, but it's its own reward. It really is. When you practice, you begin learning things in very complex manner. You have plenty of time to think about, the quality of the line, the edge, how much pressure you're putting on, oh, wait a minute, is there something different I can do here? And here's the thing, serendipitous mistakes are a blessing.
Yep.
So many times I've come across some great techniques that I would not have had if it had not been for some goofy mistake. I literally just had one just the other day. I had watered down some paint. I was going to make some clouds. I'm working on this sculpture for it's a 100th anniversary of Route 66. I'm doing a sculpture for the city of Lockport, Illinois. So I had this watered down white paint, and I spilled some on the piece. Oh crap, and I went and got the hair dryer and I started dabbing it up, and I'm hitting it with a hair dryer, and all of a sudden I see these weird patterns from the drying process. Like I dry a little bit of it and dab it up, and then dry a little bit more, and I get these weird concentric. Whoa! Now we got something. Forget about the mess it made.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I got a whole new reason for this mess. Yeah. So I mean, I'm still discovering stuff. That happened like 2 days ago.
Yep.
I'm thrilled. Look at all. I can't wait to get back tomorrow and start painting on the thing.
I try to tell my students all the time. A lot of kids are afraid to mess up, so they won't even start. And I try to pound that out of them. Let's work, guys. It's okay to make a mistake and mess up because you learn something from it. Even if you throw it out, you learn something.
Sure.
It's not a failure. A mistake is not a failure.
I'm so glad to hear you say. Like I taught a lot, actually. Many years I taught. I don't have time for it anymore. I'm on the road too much, but I love it. I love teaching. So one of the things that I always do in my classes, especially kids classes, like I taught a lot of cartooning and basic line drawing and figure drawing, that kind of thing. The first day I'd say, I'm glad you're all here. We're going to make as many mistakes as we possibly can. You know why? Because it's not going to cost you anything. You haven't got anything to lose at this point in your life by making the mistake. So, but the one thing you do get to have with mistakes is learning something. Yep. And here's what a success teaches you. It teaches you that one situation that you probably can't reproduce was very successful one day, one time only.
Yeah.
And that's that. So you learn one thing. There you go. A failure, you learn 100 things.
Yep.
100 easily. And they're all applied. So, I'd always like, all right, people, let's get started and make those mistakes.
Yep.
Screw up as much as possible.
Absolutely.
Hey, you're not screwing up enough.
That's awesome. Well, hey, man, thank you so much for a few minutes of your time.
I enjoyed every moment of it. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you, fans. I always want to thank the fans, really, because I mean, look, okay, I was kicked to the curb for 27 years, so now I'm here, kind of making up for a lot of lost time. So I'm booking every show that shows up on my roster. I'm on the road constantly because I just want to talk to each and every fan. I love all of you because you made all this possible. Quite honestly, it would just be a lot of nice dragon artwork without you guys. So thanks, man. Really.
What's up, guys? It's Billie here, and we are at St. Joe RetroCon, and I'm sitting here with Mavis, aka Mavie Wavey, and she is this event's cosplay coordinator. How's it going?
It's going good. It's been a great weekend. I've had a lot of fun, and I'm really grateful to be here. A lot of really cool guests. It's been a great time.
That's awesome. So Was last night the big cosplay event here?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Unfortunately, you guys watching know I had to miss yesterday. So how did that go?
It went really well. We had enough. We had more competitors than prizes, which is always a good thing to have.
Yeah,
That means
yeah.
there's interest. The way I run my contest is I wanted to give a space for craftsmanship people. If you made your costume, I didn't want you to be lumped in with the people who buy or alter their clothing, which all cosplay is valid.
Oh yeah.
But I wanted there to be separate categories. Each one had their own prize division. It went great. I had $2,000 worth of prizes through cash prizes, sponsorships. We had my good friends down at Union Station from Science City and Planetarium. A lot of the vendors, Glassy Nerd, First Barrel Brewing, Wolfio, myself, donated our personal money, stuff of that sort.
That's awesome.
We've had 3 or 4 months to do it, and it's a team of 4.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Very cool. So you yourself do cosplay. You're how do they say it? A master cosplayer.
Yeah, I'm a masterclass cosplayer.
Masterclass cosplayer. Okay.
Yes. I have enough awards to where I do craftsmanship as well as masquerade, but I prefer performance and skits. I've done theater for 21 years, and I'm 22.
Yep.
So every year it goes up 1 and 1. But I'm studying theater. I'm studying film. I do costume design. I do hand make all my own costumes. Today is just a nice, easy PJ day.
Yeah.
But I do hand make everything. I compete. I have enough awards to where they put me in the master category.
Who are some of your characters that are your favorite that you're the most proud of?
So right now, probably my Dr. Eggman cosplay.
Oh, nice.
I have the full bald cap and the mustache. I'm trying to get the Sonic the Hedgehog 4 movie, Paramount or Sega, one of them. I'm trying to get them to invite me out to the premiere.
That would be awesome.
For the movie. It's not an elaborate plan to meet Jim Carrey. I'm a huge Jim Carrey fan. But that I'm known for. I do a Dr. Cortex from Crash Bandicoot. Little throwback there. I do Lemillion. A lot of people know my Perona from One Piece.
Yep.
Some ones I have coming up is Jet the Hawk from Sonic. I'm actually doing 35 Sonic cosplays for the 35th anniversary of Sonic, which is a lot. But
that is a lot.
I love Sonic. I love My Hero Academia. Lemillion. That's all the My Hero characters are going to happen. Trying to think of like some not Sonic characters I'm working on. Oogie Boogie is one I'm going to work on soon. But there's a whole bunch.
Very cool. Well, do you have any I know we're kind of early midpoint of the year. Do you have any other events coming up the rest of the year?
Oh my God. Yes. So next week's my only free weekend in like the next 3 months. I have Anime Central in Chicago. I have GalaxyCon Oklahoma City, Des Moines Con, competing at all of these, by the way. AFW, Anime Festival Wichita. It's their last year this year. So it's like a memorial. Tokyo, Tulsa. I'm going to Sonic Expo in Atlanta. I'm going to Sonic Boost in San Diego. Planet Anime here in town. KC Nerd Con. Jomo Con I'm guesting at. Stuff of that nature. I do a lot around Kansas City. All of the small events, the big events, Planet, NACA. I'll die on a hill for NACA. I love NACA.
Me too.
All those events, smaller ones like NerdCon and up here. And I'll go down to Dallas. I'll go over to Chicago. But this is my first time branching out towards like Atlanta and California. And it's for Sonic Cons, obviously, but
that's awesome.
There's a lot.
Well, for anyone listening or watching, where can these guys find you out there on social media and things like that?
Yeah, so I have an Instagram, a TikTok, and a YouTube channel. It's all Mavie Wavey, Mavey Wavie. A lot of people always think it's an EY at the end. But I'm on those. I do have a Facebook, but I don't really use it that much.
You're not old people like me.
No, I'm trying to boost my YouTube a little bit more. But my YouTube channel, I'd love to boost. I'm about to hit 10,000 on TikTok because I put my Eggman cosplay in a maid outfit. And it's like almost 700,000 views. And
that's amazing.
The comments are getting a little weird, but
TikTok is so weird. Many years back, would spend so much countless time making a really cool video, get a decent amount of views. Mm-hmm. I made a video that's less than 10 seconds long, has a funny little twist in it. It has like 1.3 million views.
Yep.
And The algorithm is weird.
The algorithms are so weird, and it is hard now to do cosplay guesting because a lot of conventions are looking for popularity, and that's something that I did here as the cosplay coordinator for St. Joe RetroCon is I wanted to invite people who have never guested before. And granted, every single person who applied is my friend, and it was a very hard decision to pick between them all. But I wanted to invite people who haven't had a chance to get their name out there. They all craft in some way. They have their own craft. They have their own like signature piece. Like for example, my friend Wicked, they do crochet. She does all the crochet stuff. Myself, I do sewing. I do wigs. A lot of my friends do sewing and whatnot. So I wanted to invite them all because they had something special about them that they could showcase. It was a little different. And I wanted to make sure I wasn't inviting people just for a huge following,
Yeah.
that's always a great thing if you have a huge following. Like I'd love to have a huge following, but a huge following isn't always for everyone. And it's a barrier that people have to jump over. So I kind of wanted to break that wall down. And I
Gotcha.
feel like I did a really good job about it. So
Yeah, this event's been really fun.
that's great.
Yep. Well, hey, thanks for stopping by and
Yeah,
telling
of
us about what
course.
you've been working
Thank you
on.
so much.
And you guys follow those socials and come to all those
Yeah.
upcoming events and see some of her work in
Can I
action.
give a shout out?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Shout out to Christy. Christy, I know you're listening to this.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Of course.
All right, you guys. That was so much fun. And again, I cannot express enough. Next year, go to St. Joseph RetroCon. Find the dates, find the times, get yourself ready to go out there and just have a great time. But hey, as for us here at the Taylorverse, I've been Billy Taylor. And come back next week, you guys. Same Taylor channel, same Taylor time. Bye.